What's up, my know-it-alls? We are at it again. This time, it's the full-on spoiler review. If you've already seen my non-spoiler review, that's where we kind of broke it down, and we also talked about the know-it-all index rating. So if you want to see that, in order to know what the rating was, right there. Go to that card right up there. If not, that's okay. We're going to get into it. If you have not seen the movie, this is your one and only warning. I don't normally do this, but I'm letting you know. Spoilers.
What is happening to me?
Man, I tell you what. Okay. So I did not go into this with a whole lot of expectations. I didn't go into it with bad ones either. I purposely went into it with as clear a conscience in terms of my thinking as possible. I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm not gonna judge it. I'm gonna go into this blind. I'm not a fan of the original Captain Marvel at all. I saw it in theaters, obviously. I like some of the things it was doing, but overall it felt very cold and very dispassionate to me as well back then. However, now, as I get into this movie, there are several things. I've always said before, Baby Noel and I tried watching Ms. Marvel. We watched the first 2 episodes, couldn't really I normally give things 3 episodes, but it was just not, it wasn't for me. And according to her, it wasn't for her either. I've also seen WandaVision, where we got to see Monica Rambeau get her powers from walking through the hex and all this other stuff. And there's a brief bit of that discussed in the movie. And everybody gets their kind of like pickup lines and move on quick. They get us into the plot pretty fast. Like most of the stuff you've seen in the trailer where they're swapping bodies swapping places in space-time and whatnot are very much are there. Huge name drop to the cosmic bands. We're talking Quasar? Like the cosmic bands they talk about, the Bangles, if you will. Apparently Ms. Marvel has one, and then later on Dar-Benn has the other one. And Dar-Benn Dar-Benn's a very flat villain, but unlike some people who want to just write her off as being, oh, she's flat, she's whatever. She's a complex and nuanced villain. They give you her backstory, and that backstory is told, again, it's through Captain Marvel's eyes, because apparently when they went into space at the end of Captain Marvel, one of the things that she did was she went and promised that she was going to free the Kree. She destroyed the mega super intelligence thing. It's a concept from the comics. And in doing this, sent the entire planet into civil war. And all of their resources, everything else were destroyed. So how in the world else are you gonna, I mean, does it make sense to you? Like, how do you expect her to be? Like, seriously, okay? I'm sorry, we're geeking out. Okay, I love this stuff. I know you do too. My biggest pet peeve at this point in time is, please stop selling me the better movie that happened, what we call in comic books, either off the page or between the panels. All right, I don't need to know, because in order to give her, like, this movie would have hit so much. This should have been Captain Marvel 3. Okay, at this point in earlier phases, we had gotten Iron Man 2, and Iron Man 3. We knew Tony's arc. When you get to Iron Man 3, you understand his arc, so that when you finally get to something like, when we get ourselves into the Civil War of it all, you understand his motivations. They didn't do that. They did no groundwork here. You give me that Captain Marvel movie where we get to see those events and we get to see her fight the thing and blah, 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 and have to make hard choices? Because there's a couple of times when Kamala Khan wants to do something or this or that, and Captain Marvel has to like dress her down quick, and you see something happening. So Brie Larson's been given backstory in order for, as an actress, for her to be able to do her job. But you don't get any of that backstory. We never saw it on the screen. So you don't understand. I mean, I can conjecture and I can connect the dots like anybody else. But we don't get to see any of that work. And that was really frustrating, because imagine how much more impact it would have been to see her reignite the Kree Sun, to understand the motivation. Now, they did do a good job painting the motivations for Dar-Benn, but because you sit here and you go, oh, wow, okay, it makes sense. And it does make sense why she's called the Annihilator.
Annihilator!
I don't like that name.
Okay, and it makes total sense, but you don't get to see any of the healing that happens as a result. So what you get is One Note Carol from the first movie, and now she's One Note Carol because of something that happened in the middle But we never got to see that second movie. Sean Chandler, one of the other a reviewer that I watch, he recently, his tweet was literally this feels like a sequel to another movie that we never got. A Captain Marvel 2 we should have gotten. This was not Captain Marvel 2. And he's right. I agree 100%. He's right. It's not Captain Marvel 2. And that's a shame. Some people didn't like the pauses. First off, I think everything works. I think everything works within the context of what this movie is. Okay, I know people that, so there's one planet where it's a musical planet, like literally they don't understand you if you're not speaking in music. It's fun. It's fun. It's a play. I think in the pop culture zeitgeist, because it's so close to the Star Trek Strange New Worlds musical, it feels derivative, and I know that's wrong, because I know that was already planned out and probably even filmed well before that series dropped. So I feel like the idea that people were like, it's a bit. I don't think it was a bit. I think it's fine. It worked fine. To me, that was the fun of comic books. You know for a fact you've seen crazy comic book species like this. These people only talking rhyme. These people only talking this and that. These people only talking song. Okay, and how awesome was it to see Emma Milani essentially doing her best like Bollywood impression, dancing to all the colorful music. It was great. I loved it. Again, one of the things that I enjoyed. How much better would it have been for us to see any of this legwork? Any of it. You literally could have ended the Captain Marvel 2 movie with her, talking to this guy who she met and he's a friend and they fought together. Maybe he was on the little team, the Prince guy, and he's like, I don't know, maybe something you can help me with my mom. And now it pays off in this, and you go, oh, and then the thing between the lines is them having had to get married and the whole bit, okay? That would have made tons of sense to me, but instead, there's all this callback to stuff we've never seen. And the problem is, I know I should care. Because you did a good job, writers of this movie, explaining to us, these are all things you should care about. The problem is, you told us, you did not show us. And that's a failure. That is a failure of Kevin Feige. That is a failure of these movie people over at Marvel. A failure. Utter failure. Okay? That's why this got a 7.5 out of 10 from me. It got a 7.5 out of 10 because I enjoyed it. I had fun. It did not get better because the movie kept trying to offer me stuff that did not make sense. I can piece it together because I'm smart. Mr. Know-It-All. But I can't forgive you and give you a better rating than that. Comment below. Let me know what you thought about the whole thing. I definitely enjoyed where this movie went. I love some of the things we got to see. We got to see the super intelligence that looked like the super intelligence. There's a bit with the Flurkins. Dar-Benn is essentially stealing resources to rebuild Hala, and then eventually goes to Earth to take our son. And the space station Nick Fury's on, Saber or whatever, is going to crash or is being whatever. And there's no way to get enough escape pods out for everybody, for 300 people. So just so happens the MacGuffin of the Flurkin cat happens to be having a litter. I feel like it's a little convenient. But they do try, and I do see the breadcrumbs they tried to lay down, which is, well, it's eating an awful lot. It's eating more than it should. And then you see, what's her name, Kamala Khan's mom say, oh, it looks a little pudgy, this and that, you should back off feeding her. And then poof, you find out that it's giving birth to little brain-looking eggs. Whatever. All that was a really long setup to have the Flurkins eat the crew of the Saber space station in order to help evacuate them faster.
Can you? I got it.
Because you can easily wrangle a family of cats than you can trying to rescue 300 individuals. Whatever. That's probably the second, and I think that was the second thing everybody tried to say was a bit. I didn't have a problem with it. Again, if you look at everything within the context of how ridiculous some of the other things are in comic books we consume, this was fun. It was lighthearted. Overall, I liked the story. Again, I liked what we got, and then of course you get to the very end. The very, very end of this thing, you get to see Monica Spectrum save the day. With using the cosmic bangles, they power her up and she goes through because they broke. Everyone on the line was like, there's an incursion. There was no incursion. There was a hole in space. An incursion is literally when two celestial bodies, specifically in this instance, Earths, from other universes show up and start going to crash into one another. One of them's going to survive and one of them's not. That is not what happens here. They punched a hole in space and you could see another Earth. So what does she do? She has to go on the other side. They power her up to seal it. She seals it up. Boom. You get this really nice coda where they basically make it out that Monica that Brie Larson's Captain Marvel's going to wait and make sure is going to safeguard the house and stuff like that until Monica comes back or whatever. The airplane, rather. So the first scene is, because this isn't the end credit yet, the first scene is Kamala plays her version of Nick Fury, and she's putting together a team, and it's very reminiscent of the Nick Fury scene and it's Kate Bishop, the first. So she's like, we're putting together a team, and right now it's just you and me, but can you do that, please? Okay, and so she's going to be a thing. Then you get to finally the end, the mid-credit scene because there is nothing at the end, and it's Monica waking up, and she wakes up in another planet on this other Earth, and she thinks it's her mom who's there. Binary has now entered the battle. So that was an interesting callback. And then we got the callback all you leakers and spoilers saw. Big ups to the Geeky Cast. Those guys are always on top of their game. I absolutely love them over there. Chad and the others, you guys are the best. They were the ones who told me first. I heard from them first before anybody else. And I mean anybody else. No matter whose time to shine it might be. We get the cameo from Beast. It's Kelsey Grammer's Beast. Now, it's not the same exact Beast in that this one is a little more CGI, but it looks very well put together. I feel like this is kind of a hint at what potentially their X-Men may end up looking like. But it's Kelsey Grammer for sure. And he's shirtless. He's wearing the Beast bottoms, the X-Men bottoms with the belt, and he's got a lab coat on and glasses. He couldn't have come out of the 90s cartoon better. And he even mentions Charles and the whole bit, and they realize, so she's in an X universe. I do not want to say she's in like the Fox X universe or this person, whoever's. She's in an X universe, and I'm okay with that. So anyways, there you go. Now you know. If knowing's half the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. Guys, would love to hear your know-it-all index scores. What do you guys think of the movie if you've seen it? If you haven't had a chance to see it, why in the world did you listen to this beforehand? Anyways, all right. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.